Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to do something a bit different, and that's going to be something that absolutely nobody asked for, and that's an account overview of my main account, or my only account actually. So I consider myself a late game player, let's say mid to late game player, based on how my roster is. And I just wanted to show you a bit of what that looks like. Talk a little bit about the journey I've gone on to get here, and maybe show you what I'm working on. So let's first just take a quick look at the stats. So this is my first account that I ever played on this game on Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. So I started this in late December 2020, so just after Christmas. So at the time that I started the game, they already had the accelerated shards. So character shards were already accelerated. I think they started that in, I want to say November, maybe a little bit before 2020. So I had the luxury of already coming in with that. Um, so that's about almost a little under 2.5 years that I've been playing so far. I will say that when I first started this game, for at least the first month, I had absolutely no clue what I was doing. So I was just I had a lot of time on my hands, on holidays at the in-laws' houses. So was just kind of going through farming random characters, doing whatever battles I could at the time. Didn't understand the concept of payout times in the arenas. Didn't understand the importance of crystals, so I'm sure I was refreshing stores. I was refreshing, after I would do a squad arena battle, I'd probably like refresh just to do another one immediately. So was really inefficient when I started. Before I, did some research on YouTube and the forums, and then started to put together somewhat of a plan. I don't think it was the most efficient plan to start, but in general, the accounts turned out well. So if we look here, like I said, I'm just at 6.4, just over 6.4 million GP. So, it's a little bit less than like 3 million per year that I'm getting. Now this is not a, free to play, let's say, account. It's definitely not a whale account either, but I did buy the Hyperdrive bundle about 3 weeks into the game. So I think I leveled up and I got to level 65 or so. So I was already in Fleet Arena. I was already in the Fleet Shard. And then I decided to just like buy Hyperdrive and go from there. And then since then, I definitely have bought a couple crystal packs. I think I bought some of the Relegate material packs when they first came out because I was going for JMK and my guild wasn't doing CPIT yet. And then from time to time, I buy like the $5 Cairo packs. I do the $10 Conquest pass to get some extra shards there. So I definitely spend money on this game. It's not free to play, but I think the principles that I follow and kind of how I build an account, it applies to all players, whether you're free to play or pay to play. So 6.4 million GP, 3.7 characters, 2.7 in fleet. I do invest a lot in fleet. Um, let's see. I used to be on this gear donated. It's not like super high, 589. I got roasted on this the first time I ever did like a roster review. I think I had like 2 gear pieces donated. So I try to donate when I can. It's much easier now with all the accelerated gear. Um, Anything else that's interesting in this? Not really. Okay. Um, so if we go and look here kind of at the main screen, right now I'm in Kyber 3. So I've been, when they changed the Grand Arena, the way that it worked, I bloated my account like 600 GP just so I could start in Chromium. Um, I wanted to start where you had, 2 fleets on defense and 2 on offense because I invested heavily in fleets, so I thought I had an advantage there. So I bloated a lot to bring my GP up to get there. And then over the first 2 seasons, I made it, pretty high. I was one win away from staying in Erodium 1, which would have bumped me to Kyber before I ever had a GL. So a little bit bummed that I didn't make it to Kyber without a GL. But the next season, I unlocked Kenobi like between seasons, and then I made it to Kyber. And since then, I've really stuck mainly in Kyber 4, and then the last 2 seasons I've been able to stay in Kyber 3. So I think I've kind of equalized out in Kyber 3. I can have probably like a 50-50 record there. I don't see myself really going much higher based on my play style and my roster. Let's look at fleets first because I think fleets is super important in this game. Obviously, it's where you get a lot of your crystals, whether you're pay to play or free to play from Fleet Arena. Investing in fleets again, like I said, I wanted to be in Chromium when I started just so I would have the advantage of more fleets on the battlefield since I had both of the Get 2 ships at the time, and I don't think Executor was introduced yet. So um, I do invest in fleets. I think it's very important that every player should do, especially brand new players or new accounts. So if we look at the capital ships, I have, like I said, I have Malevolence and Negotiator. I got into a guild doing the GOTBs, quite early. I think around like 1.2 million. Um, I requested and got into a guild that at the time was maybe 220, which is the same guild I'm actually in now. So we've grown from basically 220 million to I think we're 367 million GP now, so quite a bit. And obviously my account's gone from the 1.2, 1.5 that I was to the 6.5. So I was able to get Malevolence and Negotiator pretty early on, get them to 7 stars. And even since before then, I was running Home One with Rebels because I was able to unlock the Millennium Falcon pretty early since I went for CLS. So essentially, since I've been able to make it up to, number 1 in Fleet Arena, I've been there. I've been able to get number 1 pretty much for 2 years and a couple of months straight. So that helps. That definitely helps the crystals. Part of our shard chat. Really just so we know when people's payouts are, we don't bump each other. So both of the Get 2 fleets, and then Executor when it came out, I finished essentially what I was doing at the time, which I think I just finished JMK, and then I pivoted to start farming Executor, um, which took a bit of time because I still needed to get the Razor Crest. I hadn't unlocked it in the Conquest since I was only doing like normal Conquest at the time. So that took some time. I had to get Beskar Mando, but obviously Executor is a great fleet. And then Profundity, after I got my second GL, which I'll show you, I decided to go for Profundity again because fleet is important. And now being in Kyra, you need 3 fleets on defense and 3 on offense. And I basically unlocked that in end of January. So we're now end of April and have 40 shards left to get it to 7 stars. I'll probably just kind of slow play that because there's a lot of things coming up in the next few months that are going to require a lot of crystals. So I need to kind of bank my crystals for that. Other than that, those are obviously the 4 main ones. I have Chimera, only a gear 12 Thrawn, but I have a lot of the ships that go with it. The pilots need some more gear there, but it's something I'll work on. I do have a 6-star finalizer, so and this is what 2.5 months away from having a 7-star finalizer. Obviously, my pilot, my Hux is gear. What is that? Gear 6, gear 7. Yeah, gear 7. I think. Yeah. Um, so the fleet's kind of useless at this point, but it's when I decide to go for SLKR, at least I'm done with that requirement, which usually is the one that takes the longest from a new account standpoint. And then these other fleets are just they are what they are. Gear 11, Tarkin and Akbar, and endurance is terrible. And I do not have Radis. So that's the capital ships, and I like I said, for the main fleets, I have the ships that go with it. I have obviously Outrider that's going with Profundity. I have Raven's Claw. I need to do some more testing on my home one with Raven's Claw and the X-Wings. I haven't really used it too much, but I think with some more gear on my bigs to tank, some more gear on my SRP for Biston's ship, and obviously some more gear on my Akbar. I think that fleet will be pretty good. Everything else I have, obviously the Galactic Republic ships, Bounty Hunter ships, what you need. I do have Silencer at at 7 stars with my Relic 5 crew, and that was basically I just took that up so that I could actually unlock Finalizer, and since that ship carries the event. Sorry here. So again, ships are super important. As of recording this, they just announced the new capital ship Leviathan, Darth Revan ship, and we have the Sith Fury class interceptor Malgus' ship that's going on in Conquest. So that's definitely going to be something that is on my radar in the near future. Probably, not next. We'll talk about it just because it's going to take me probably at least 6 months to have Malgus' ship, and then the rest of my Sith Empire people are and Sith ships. Like if we just take a look here at the Sith ships, obviously I have Vader. That's it. I have nothing else. I have I'm farming now the Sith fighter. I'm farming now the Scimitar. I'm farming the Emperor shuttle. I'll start farming the Extinction bomber once I finish my ultimate on Jabba, so I can farm light side nodes. But lots of work to do here. So I'll probably start farming these shards as soon as I finish my ultimate farm for Jabba next. And again, this is probably going to be at least 6 months because I think it's going to take me 5 or 6 conquests to get Malgus' ship at 7 stars anyway. So let's hop over to characters and see what we have here. So right now I just unlocked my 3rd Galactic Legend. So I started with Jedi Master Kenobi was the first GL that I went for after building like a CLS team. And the reason I went for him is I was able to really see what Cat could do, and I went very hard on Cat and like the conquest. Again, I was only normal conquest, so I was spending crystals, I was spending conquest currency to get Cat. I definitely spent whatever crystals I had when she was in the shipment, so that was a luxury. I actually had Cat before JMK, which made Squad Arena pretty fun using the Padme Cat counter to the JMKs and the SLKRs when they started showing up. So still able to get, top 5 in Squad Arena without a GL, when the top like 25 or so were all GLs before they changed, they removed crystals from Arena. So after JMK, like I said, I went for Executor. Um, After that, I was again pretty close to JML because I had the full like CLS team Rebels. I already had gas. I already had been buying Wampa and Hoda with my Get One, so decided to just go for JML. Like he's super good GL, but for newer accounts is not something you should definitely not do it as your first GL. Even the second GL is kind of questionable just because of the amount of relics he requires and all the journey guides. So I'll do another video on potentially like a farming guide, maybe a new player farming guide or farming plan, and then maybe something more on the mid game. It seems to be popular these days doing farming guides. So let's see how mine stacks up against the others. And then after JML, I got I kind of took a break from the GL grind and, got some characters like Malgus. I actually had Malgus before I had Darth Revan, so I had to go back and, get the requirements for Darth Revan, get him, obviously get Malik. Got Starkiller as well. And then I went for Profundity after that. So 2 GLs and then the 2 GL ships. And then again, Jabba I just unlocked like a week and a half ago, and I have, how close am I here on the ultimate? I think I have 2 more ultimate materials needed for Jabba, and then I'm finished. I finished with that. I need to raise the relic levels. I think right now my Jabba and Chrysanthemum are relic 7. My Vouch is relic 6, and Skiff Lando is, I need 2 more. Skiff Lando is relic 5. So I need to definitely raise those relic levels, but luckily I had a lot of relic materials in the bank, so when I got Java, I could take them up, and most of the team was pretty easy to get to the higher levels for the requirements, but now I am out, so I have to replenish. So let's take a look just kind of at the main squads that I have built. Again, this is a 6.5 million, a little bit less than 2.5 year account. Let's say monthly spender. I probably spend like $15 a month on the game on average. So It's what you can see. Now, I will say I really like my account, but I would say if you're starting a new account now, the way I built it is not going to be the most efficient. And the way that the game has changed over the last year and a half, it's really going to be impossible. Like JMK still, I think, is the best overall GL, but without, let's say, actually, Commander Ahsoka is the best GL with JMK as the lifter unit. So without having Cat, JMK is not worth going for. And to get Cat on a new account, first you have to get to 4 million GP. So it's probably going to take you a year and a half or more. And then you need to start the proving ground grind, which is going to take another, if you're refreshing, minimum, like 6, 7 months. And that's 4,000 crystals a month. And that's going to be very hard to afford without spending. So don't recommend that. But anyway, I talked about these. So JMK, obviously, these teams they change up depending on what events I'm doing or how I need to split it. But kind of the core, have your typical JMK team. I have the the typical JML team, obviously with Revan. Then my Jabba team. So right now I'm running it with Boba Fett. My Imbo is Gear 12, almost Year 13. So I will definitely be gearing up Imbo and putting the Territory War Omicron on him when I can. But Boba's also good for now. I mean, Jabba so far is amazing on the PvE events. Um, I mean, really, you can just auto everything: conquest, territory battle, even with the less than ideal team or even these lowish relics. Then I said I have Malgus here, so definitely need some more relic levels on Malgus and Malak. I run Talon with this team now. I don't really have any other Sith outside of like Palpatine or Vader for this, so it's going to be interesting to see when they release the rest of the Leviathan requirements to see how far off I am. Again, I do have Starkiller, which again, he's not too hard to get. The characters are all good in his journey, but they do require a lot of Kyrotechs. Again, this composition that I have for Starkiller is not the best one. Obviously, you need Palp Mara, you need Starkiller. My Palp is extremely low gear at low relics at Relic 3. So that will come up. And then I'm running Old Bin and JTR, but eventually these will be replaced. So Juhani, I think I have at Gear 12. She'll be one of my next relics before I start another large journey. But probably JTR will stay there for a while. Then I have CLS. I really love CLS, and you guys have probably heard me say it before. I think he's the best team in the game, better than GLs. Obviously, he's not gonna, beat most GLs all the time. With Datacrons, he can beat them depending on the season or the set. But as far as versatility goes, I don't think you can find a team that will be as impactful in every game mode that CLS is. So really like that team, and that was my first big journey team that I went on, and that served me well for a very long time in Arena before all the GLs started showing up. Obviously, I have Gas and the 501st, all pretty low relic levels. So again, when I can start to afford to increase these, obviously fives will probably be the first to go up, then Gas. Eventually, I'll go for Lord Vader, so I'll have to bring Echo and Arc up anyway. My Grievous team, again, I at some point probably need to just take B2 and now Droidica to relics. The Droidica Omicron for Territory Wars is pretty good, and then if I can get these guys to R3 or R5, then I can start using Datacrons. Mon Mothma, again, with Kyle Katarn and Cara Dune, I think is good. My plan is to level up these two guys, but as you can see, they need a lot of gear to really have to get the best use of Mon Mothma's team. And it's just, for now, it's something I throw on defense. I think it can be, tricky, especially with Katarn and Cara Dune, but I really need these guys higher gear. My Rogue One team, which right now I have SRP, just because he's at Gear 12, but I will probably take K2 up to Relics at some point and replace him, and then this team's good to go. Imperial Troopers, again, a very fun team to use, and when I was running an alt account, this was the first team that I built up, all of them to Relics, but So I took a while to build it here on my main account, and then really I just built it when I was going for Executor because I needed a Relic 8 Piet anyway. So I have the Relic 8 Piet. I just took Dark to Relic 5. He could use some more Relic levels for sure. The rest are, gear base, what is it, like gear 10, gear 9. And this team does great. I mean, as long as you're fast, I think my Piet's like 344 speed, which is pretty good. So 344, so you can outrun most things, and then all you really need is Piet and Dark hitting, and you're good to go. Bounty Hunters, um, yeah, I mean, yeah, you have so many Bounty Hunters when you're going for these events. This is kind of what I'm running for now, but I will replace probably Django with Grief, who's I think gear 11. Zam obviously needs some more. She needs some more gear. Um, I don't really know what to do with my scoundrels, so I just kind of throw them here for now. But this will change as I start to getting some of these teams below. And then you can see here, so Maul is, again, it's someone that's a really good character. I usually am getting like crate or box 5 in hard conquest. So, it's taking me at least, that's right now. So it's going to take me at least all 6 conquests plus a few purchases to get these characters. So Maul has taken quite a bit, but I will get him with the next Proving Grounds. I'm probably just going to spend the 2,000 crystals to refresh it so I have him, gear him up, take Canderous to Relics, and then that team will be good to go. Inquisitors is something that I think, with where my guild is at right now, definitely needs some investment. So it'll be potentially another project. And then Geos, again, I think Geos is a core team. You have to have this. You need them for Malevolence, which is probably the best early game fleet. You need them to get Wat Tambor shards. So you really need them to be able to get into a good guild doing Darkside Geo. Some people say you can pass Geos, but honestly you can't. Like you have to have this team. And now with some of the Omicrons and with Datacrons coming out, if you can take them to Relics, they can really be a force. So what am I working on? I mean, if you look through here, I don't have a lot of these new marquee characters. Yes, I have, Starkiller's really it. Starkiller and his team. Malgus from Conquest. But other than that, I don't really have Inquisitors. I'm farming their shards right now, but I haven't geared them. I don't have any of the Afra stuff. I've started farming some shards that are on dark side nodes right now. But those ones are just very tough. One, they're expensive to gear, and two, they're very slow to farm since they're not accelerated. So that's kind of the account overview where I am. So like I said, I'm just about to finish the ultimate for Jabba. Kind of the plan over the next, let's say, probably 3 to 6 months is you see a few of these Gear 12 characters I have favorited. So probably Imbo, Juhani, Canderous will be the next ones I take to Relic. Gear 13, probably Bassa as well because she'll be very useful, especially in 3v3 Grand Arena with JML. And then probably Zam. So those are kind of like 5 characters that I really can ignore these ones that I want to take to Relics before I start my next big journey. And then, if I just kind of think, where I'm at, if we go and look at the different Galactic Legends, that we have, trying to decide what do I do. So, I have Jabba for the guild, which is going to help in TB. It's going to help obviously in the Great Dragon raid that's coming up. I'll have the Maul Mandalorians, I think, for the raid. So I have two teams that should do decent. So I probably won't build Inquisitors. Don't tell my guild that. I don't think they watch this anyway. So I probably won't build them next. I'm thinking to do. I was debating first between, before Jabba came out, I was debating between Lord Vader and SLKR, and then Jabba came out, and I decided, like, look, the importance that CG is placing on him, you just got to go for him. So I'm glad I did that. And looking at the requirements between the two of these, like, I really like some of the things that Lord Vader will give me. So obviously it will give me the full Bad Batch, increased relics on Padme. I'm gonna take Imbo up anyway. Increased relics on some of my 501st. I'm gonna take Zam up anyway. Um, Dooku, I think, is strong with Separatists, especially now with Trench coming to the game, which again I probably won't have for another 5 months. But and then Gas, and then new to someone that I use, but he's only like gear 11. So I really like all of these requirements for Lord Vader. Um, the problem is like Bad Batch is just super expensive to gear, and I don't know if I want to go through that many Kairos. And same for Inquisitors. Like Inquisitors are extremely painful to gear with Kyra. So probably SLKR is who I will go for. Again, I already have a 6-star, almost 7-star finalizer, and I think that's one of the biggest hurdles for SLKR. I have most of these things already to 7 stars at least. And I think since it's one of the first GLs and an older characters, older faction, it's really not too difficult to gear them. So when I compared uh, all of these, 14 SLKR requirements versus just the 5 Inquisitor requirements plus Grand Inquisitor. I think Inquisitors took 1,300 more Kairos than all of these combined. So that's huge. And the biggest difference here was like I think on the Carvantes was something like 1,500 more, but I've been buying them like crazy lately, and I think I'm up to like 1,000. So I think it makes sense to do SLKR. I'm hoping within 3 months. So let's say by sometime in July that I'll have him. We'll know obviously what the requirements are of the Leviathan new capital ship is by then. We'll know kind of what's happening with the Great Dragon raid, but most likely after I get Kylo Ren, I'll probably start going for Leviathan. I mean, I think I'm going to need a lot of characters for that, and it's something that again with the huge importance on fleet, like you really have to keep the focus. Like let's just take a look real quick at my fleet shard, which is actually pretty chill. Um, we for a shard that's almost 2.5 years old, I think I got pretty lucky on. We don't have any whales. So there's no, I mean, there's a lot of us that are kind of in the same place in our account, but we don't have any whales. So you look at the top, we have, one guy with profundity. Then we start to have finally, we have like a lot of 7-star executors. I think a lot of people just finally got theirs to 7 stars this last month. I'm running profundity, more executors. This guy, Matt Loren, pretty cool. He's still rolling finalizer. He doesn't have, executor or profundity, but he gets knocked down to like 25 every day, and he finds a way to climb all the way to number 1. We have our favorite YouTuber, Star Wars Dad or Newt here, who's in both of my shards. So that's how I came to know about him. But yeah, like we have executors basically going down to essentially like the top 20. You start to then see some people. I mean, this guy's still running Executrix. You have some negotiators. You have a couple more guys with executors that decided to quit the game. So we have essentially we have basically 20, 21 of these GL ships. So it's pretty chill. Um, and like I said, with that, you can get number 1 every day and get the nice 400 crystals. So I don't really think no one here is going to get Leviathan day 1. I would say probably like 6 months is the earliest. So if I target SLKR and then I'm kind of on that timeline by, let's say, October to have Leviathan, I think I'll be in good shape. So anyway, that's kind of the overview of my account. Again, this is the first time, like my first and only account right now um, for Galaxy of Heroes. So I've only been playing this game for like 2.5 years. Lots to do. You're always in catch-up mode if you have a young account. I mean, like I said, I have 3 GLs, so I'm still 4 GLs behind. All of these marquee teams, like just not really feasible to catch them up. I mean, I prefer to wait on them until the shards are accelerated. And kind of like as I've been building this account, I've found that, you know, if I do a big journey like a Galactic Legend, then I like to follow it up to do kind of, you know, either um, finish out some of the teams. You know, if I built a lot of requirements for GL, sometimes it's incomplete teams. So kind of finish out those teams and then start another journey. And really how I've done it, I mean, well, kind of how it's fallen into place is, you know, Galactic Legend, GL ship, Galactic Legend, GL ship, Galactic Legend. I think I'm going to do back-to-back Galactic Legends again after I relic up 4 or 5 characters. So by the end of this year, I'm targeting to have at least 4 GLs and then all 3 GL ships. Um, we'll see. I would like to have potentially a 5th GL or Inquisitors with Grand Inquisitor by that time. So we'll kind of see how it plays out. Hopefully the SLKR, I think it should be a pretty fast farm and leveling up these characters. And then we just don't know yet on Leviathan, so we'll have to wait and see. But again, for me, it's going to be minimum 6 months anyway. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. And I have a couple of, like I said, ideas in the future on, you know, farming guides or mid game player guides, you know, entering late game. So if you have any, you know, comments, questions, leave them down below. Remember to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Let's see if we can get more than, you know, 15 people watching these every time. But I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching.